Welcome to the Middle East Tax Leaders Decision Series by Transformance. I'm Rashmi Rawat, conference producer of this summit. In this podcast series, we are connecting with the visionary leaders who are shaping the future of tax across the Middle East. If you are a tax, finance, or governance leader preparing for what's coming next, this series is designed specially for you. Learn and grow with the leaders defining the future of tax. So let's go ahead and discuss the first episode with Mr. Manish Kothari, who is a tax expert and has seen the transformation of Middle East tax. He has 20 plus years of experience. Welcome, Manish. You have been seeing the transformation of the tax community, how the tax has changed, the landscape, how it has changed. So I'm really excited to have this discussion with you. So let's start with our episode number one, the reality of the tax function in the Middle East. So let's go to the first point. What is the real situation for tax leaders right now in Middle East? Could you please help us understand that?
Sure. Thanks, Rashmi. First of all, thanks to you and your organization for providing me this opportunity. Hi, everyone. My name is Manish Kothari. I am based in the region for past 22 years and have been leading tax function of large multinational companies and regional powerhouse and conglomerates. I have been leading and managing tax function in more than 50 jurisdictions. Now, the theme is, I would say, is very interesting and really I can very well relate to this theme because, as I said, I'm in the region for a very long time and really have seen the complete transformation of tax regime and tax functions in the region. So reality of tax function in the Middle East, I would say it is a radically transformed landscape from a tax-free environment to now a highly compliance, digital first, and technology advanced regime. And when I say that, I will just briefly elaborate on this. So, why taxes have been introduced in the region and why this transformation? So, initially, this region was heavily focused on oil and gas revenue and non-tax revenue, and then because I would say OECD compliance requirement or global pressure, and also to really bring the competitiveness, region has implemented various taxes. Region is fastly evolving towards digital compliance, greater tax transparency and collaboration. I think this is very important because now world and tax authorities really wants the transparency by companies and by tax authorities. And also, I would say ESG agenda is also important because initially or earlier ESG was never considered tax as part of ESG, but now ESG is also including tax remarks. So I think all in all, it is going very rapid transformation, going through very rapid transformation.
Correct. So if you want to just give two or three points on it, so how would you say about the reality of the tax?
I would say if I just take 3 points very quickly, I think increased complexity and then of course cost burden on the companies because earlier tax was not a cost, but now it is a cost. Second is I would say adaptability. So companies tax functions are really adapting to this new change in all aspects.
Right.
And I would say last but not least is transformation in terms of management of tax resources. And definitely during our discussion, I will elaborate more, but that is also, I would say, very important.
Sure. You have mentioned actual reality, what is happening in the tax right now. Thank you so much for sharing that, Manish. And let's go for our next theme, that is risk and watch outs. So I would like to ask you that, where are tax leaders most, underprepared today and, missing out on things and they should be watching out for such risk? What are those?
Yeah, sure. So as I rightly said, see, in this region, especially the taxes have implemented in a very short span of time in several taxes. So starting from excise tax, then value-added tax came, then certain global reporting, country by country reporting, ESR came in between. Now corporate taxes, Pillar 2 is coming, e-invoicing is coming. So several taxes implemented in a short span of time. So majority of the tax function, tax leader, and in fact even tax advisor were overwhelmed in terms of implementation of various taxes and then compliance. So I think implementation is done, compliances are being pretty much done on time. But when I say it's still underprepared or a lot of work required is, I would say two or three major areas. One is definitely technology. Because the region, the volume of companies have grown significantly, but it's still in this region, lot of things are still done manually or say even in old fashioned environment. So I think technology is where a lot of companies are still underprepared. I would say bringing tax sensitivity across the organization is also somehow not fully, I would say, covered, because and there is a reason for that, because when there was no taxes applicable in this region for several years, all the decisions, all the framework, everything was set up without considering tax. So I think that bringing tax into business is still, I would say, somehow completely not taken care of. And I would say last is still I believe that tax leaders are not very well prepared, or tax function are not prepared to face the tax assessment, or I would say tax controversies. And again, when I say tax assessment and tax controversy in the modern tax environment, where tax authorities are very well equipped with automation, and their expectation also from companies that companies should also able to satisfy their requirement in a timely and a quality manner. So I would say these are three primary areas where companies I see still underprepared.
So, Manish, you have got out the best points because it's a habitual thing which has been, happening, that everything was without tax, or that point was really very low. But now it has changed completely. So, yes, it's a risk and everybody should be watching out for that. Thank you very much for reverting on this. So let's go on our next question and next point, which is about focus. So if a tax leader, has to focus 2 to 3 major or main points right now, what should it be?
Yeah, thanks, Rashmi. And yeah, I think as I highlighted some of the areas which are say underprepared today, or where tax functions are lacking.
Correct.
So I think this answer to this question will be basically focusing on how to address those areas. So again, I would say the first point will be, and foremost and important point is technology. And when I say technology, I think it is really high time for tax functions in the region to really move away from traditional way of working, and say working through Excels, emails, working through fragmented data sets, now to really use the technology. And when I say technology, there is so much of technology available in the market, whether it is artificial intelligence, generative AI, augmented AI, there's predictive analysis, there is optical character recognition, which account and finance teams are using. So a lot of technology are available, and different companies are in different, I would say, phase and maturity of utilization of those technology. So I think important is every company should really now start thinking of technology. Companies which have already in place the basic technology implementation already done, they can move towards the more automated, or say artificial intelligence generated technology. But companies which have not still done anything, I think they need to start with the baby step, and then gradually move to more advanced automation. But there is no option, automation is required. And also one very important point in this region and relevant is, see, any automation or technology implementation requires good quality of data sets. And again, in this region, because of traditional way of working, because of silos of different departments working in silos, multiple systems within each company, I think data quality is still very poor. Data is still very fragmented. So I think to implement any technology, good quality of data and proper governance is important. Otherwise, it will be just garbage in, garbage out result. So I think that is important, technology.
Correct.
Second, I would say very important area is tax must be embedded in the organization. So tax must be part, and there is a reason for this, because now there are multiple taxes applicable in the region. As I rightly said, that it is VAT, corporate tax, global reporting, withholding taxes. In future, it might possible that personal tax also come, customs, excise. So in order to effectively comply with all the taxes, I think it is very important that tax is embedded into every part of organization, every process of organization. So I think gone are those days where tax department were working in silos. I think tax needs to be work very closely with finance, with IT, with legal, with operations. I think tax leaders needs to have those frequent meetings with business unit CEOs, with business unit leaders, to explain them sensitivity of tax function and how important tax to be considered into every decision making. And last but not least, I would say is properly preparing for tax controversy and tax assessment. And when I say this tax controversy and assessment preparation, it's still tax function approach in majority of the organization is reactive rather than proactive. So tax is basically filing returns on time. But when it comes to assessment, whether it is tax department, finance department, everybody is thinking that okay, let the assessment come. Authority will give some time and then we will respond and prepare. I think now things will not work like this because as I earlier said, tax authorities are very well equipped and very rapidly using technologies.
Right.
So they have now access to all the technologies. Also, in majority of the countries, tax authorities are getting consolidated. So whether it is VAT, custom, corporate tax, all tax authorities working hand in hand. And when they have working hand in hand and when they have utilization of technology possible, I think their assessment will be very targeted, very quality assessment, and they will expect similar approach from companies. So I think proactively preparing tax controversy and assessment real time basis is really required. So I think these are the 2 or 3 major areas where company.
That's perfect. That's perfect, Manish, because governance, compliance, finance, and tax, it's all goes hand in hand, and it's very necessary because that's how they solve the challenges which are coming up right now. So that's the wonderful point. But is it possible for you, Manish, to just say these 2 to 3 points in one line? Is it possible?
I would say if I say 2 to 3 point, utilization of technology, tax alignment within the business, and I would say proactive tax assessment management.
Okay, that's great. That's wonderful. Thank you very much. Moving to our next question, it's about practical examples. So, can you just share one example, or something that tax leaders are either doing very correctly, or something they need to change, or they need to uh, do it properly? You can give me a wrong way, a right way, something like that.
Sure, thanks. So let me first give you, I would say, where tax leaders are somehow, I would say, failing in the region. So as I said earlier, in this region, tax was never, I would say, embedded in the organization. So tax department, whatever taxes were applicable earlier, taxes were not applicable. And when taxes started being applicable in the region, is still for several years, and also now in many organizations, tax department works in silos. So they will get data either from ERP or from different department. They will prepare the return, file the return. So I think what is going wrong or what is needs to be really corrected is tax needs to be embedded in the organization. And when I say embed in the organization is tax should be always on the table. So tax needs to be part of every decision making. Tax needs to be part of say any new country entry, any new country exit. Any existing country exit, new business line opening, any large scale transformation project. In all the decision making now, tax is an important party. And if tax is not considered, and still in many organizations this is not considered, and I would say this is where tax leaders are also failing somehow. Lot of decisions are taken without tax consideration, and this creates, I would say, few major risks for the company. Many times taxes are underpaid or overpaid. Many times tax risks are not timely foreseen. Many times there are lot of opportunities available within tax in terms of reliefs, and all those are not being taken care of. And also there is a big risk from the transfer pricing perspective, because there are a lot of transactions in this region between intercompany, between connected parties, and those are not done properly at arm's length. So that creates problem from the transfer pricing perspective, which can create huge risk for the company in the future. So I would say this is an area where tax leaders are somehow not doing very well. Now another area which you said where tax leaders are doing right. So I would say definitely in this region, there is a lot of sensitivity, especially in the last few years, has grown in terms of utilization of technology for taxes. And I think leaders and management have also realized that now it is not possible to work tax department in the old fashioned way because of complexity, because of evaluation of law, and also because of scale. So I would say a lot of companies have started doing tax transformation project, and I think say real life example I can give you from my previous 2 companies. So in my previous 2 companies, which are very large family owned conglomerates, the entire value added tax compliance and corporate tax compliance was manual. And what we did is we worked with big companies which are providing tax determination and calculation engine for VAT. It was a very complex and multi-year exercise. We spent effort, we invested a lot of, I would say, lot of efforts from different departments, not only tax but IT and different department, and implemented those technologies successful, and compliance, I would say time compliance quality have significantly improved, and that has really helped on various way. Compliance is on a timely basis. Employee, I would say, turnover has reduced significantly because now employee feels more, I would say, equipped, and also they are spending a lot of time on quality work. And also we have now full visibility on our tax compliance. If there are any abnormalities going on, everything we come to know on a real time basis. So I think that has really helped a lot, and this is really an example that how automation can bring a lot of value addition to the organization.
That's perfectly fine, and these topics are really valid and important, and the examples which you shared were really much needed. That how they are failing or how they are doing it right and what should be actually done. So that's wonderful, Manish. Thank you so much. So, moving to our next question, it's about the future focus, mainly about the future. Now, everything is changing, so everybody's thinking about the future. So, over the next 12 months or maybe, a year, what pressure will increase the most on tax leaders? Because everything is changing, so how this can be handled? What kind of pressure is going to be there?
Thanks, Rashmi. I think very relevant question. And I think this question is on the mind of every tax leader or every I would
Right.
say boardroom.
Right.
Because now earlier what used to happen that tax was always a responsibility of only tax department, but because of its reputational and financial implication, nowadays boardroom also takes tax very seriously.
Yes.
So I think very relevant question. I think there are several areas which needs to be focused in the next 12 months, but I would focus on some of the major areas. So I think first and most important is, as we all know, that BEPS Pillar 2 compliance is coming due soon, very soon, and also e-invoicing implementation, which right. is a very large project, is already announced by government and progressing very well. So I think right. for all tax function, I think compliance of Pillar 2 and successful and timely implementation of e-invoicing is first priority. Right. I would say second and very important thing is talent management of tax department. And when I say talent management, see, tax majority of the companies in the region have formed tax function now, and those are very well, I would say, settled tax function. But still, there is a huge gap of technology savvy tax staff. So tax staff in the region are definitely very good in tax technical skill set, but the way digital transformation or technology transformation has done in last, I would say, a few months to year, it is very critical that companies really invest in the skill set improvement of their tax resources to make sure they are really fit for purpose for using technology and effectively, basically capitalizing on available technology. So I think management right. of tech savvy resources is important. Third is, I would say, shared responsibility. And again, I am focusing on bringing tax into every part of organization. And when I say shared responsibilities, it is very important that tax responsibility or tax risks are shared among the organization in different forms. Because as you will agree, the tax is utilizing data or processes generated by different department of organization. So I think shared responsibility is very important, but tax is everyone's business. Right. I would say next is carbon taxes, green taxes. A lot of new concepts are coming in the region. So I think tax leaders need to be really start focusing on how the green taxes relief can be utilized in future. What are carbon tax implications? Yes. In future, it might possible that cryptos become very much possible and I would say acceptable in the region. So how are the crypto tax things are working? Correct. I think that is an important area. And I think last but not least is the ESG philosophy of the companies, because see, correct. In the past, as I said, ESG was not including taxes, but now tax and tax transparency is very important. I would say a lot of public listed companies are very good in terms of ESG reporting and including taxes in that. But I think this is very much catching in the region for family-owned business also. Right. And they are including tax comments in their ESG policy. They are publishing their tax governance framework, tax policy on their website. So basically, investor and larger public also get aware that okay, what are the tax policies of this company and how much is the total tax contribution that company is making. So I think these are major areas.
Okay, all right. So, it's actually a gold point to share, and the wonderful points you have got. These are the great points, and thank you very much for sharing all this. And to say the points which you mentioned were really, really needed. And yes, definitely, I'm thanking you to share all these leadership insights so that, those who are listening to this, those who are knowing this, this will surely enrich the tax industry. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. This is really helpful and grateful. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rashmi. And I would say last comment for my larger tax professional community in the region that I think, see, future of tax function will be very different than it was in the past and even what it is currently. So I think future of tax function will be a hybrid model whereby I would say technology will take care of complexity scale, and then tax professional skill set will be definitely a strategic and value addition to the business decision making.
Correct, correct, correct. Thank you very much, Manish. Thank you for giving your time and taking time for this.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
We'll
very
connect
much.
soon. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day. Bye bye.